Hey, Charlotte Sands.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am so good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, we're catching you at a fun time, kind of in between different legs of your tour, working off the success of Dress and seeing what comes next for you. Can we start by talking about the song? Can we start there?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay. Is it really about Harry Styles? Is it really, really about Harry Styles?
Great question. So it is. It's funny because it's about a lot of things and there's a lot of layers to it and how it was actually created. But um the conversation started about like my own type and people changing, and the Harry Styles Vogue cover was a huge influence on the song, and a lot of the lyrics, like making everyone upset and stuff like that, was specific to that happening. But we also referenced there were like artists like Youngblood, which is so funny because that all happened before I went on tour with him and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a long conversation and a lot of people used as examples and inspiration, but Harry Styles is definitely the big one.
Right. And now the song Dress is being played on top 40 pop radio stations right next to Harry. Have you
Yeah.
taken that in yet? Does that feel real yet?
It's kind of terrifying, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of terrified in the best way. Like, do I want him to like be like, "Oh, what song is this next to my song on the radio?" and listen to it? Absolutely. Am I kind of nervous? Maybe a little bit. I don't want him to think I'm creepy. I just want to be friends. So if he sees this, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
If he sees this, I hope he knows that I just want to be neighbors. I want to live in a cul-de-sac or something. Nothing crazy, nothing weird, you
So
know?
that wasn't Harry calling you a second ago, then, was it?
But if it was, I was like, speaking of, Harry, stop. I'm doing something important right now.
Could you imagine? Well, listen, you could pause and pick that up, obviously. Under one condition, and that's that I get to say something to him as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
We'll make him do a shout out for sure.
Yes, exactly. Now let's talk about your tour because you're out on the road. You're finally out there seeing people in real life again, and you're touring with one of your favorite bands. So tell me how that came about.
Yeah, so over the summer, I mean, the last few years have been so crazy, and I think everyone can relate to this when so much has gotten canceled, especially for artists. And in, I mean, not just for artists, but in the music industry, so many huge festivals got canceled and then rescheduled and canceled, and so much stuff like that happened. And I am definitely somebody who believes that like everything happens for a reason. At least I try to make force myself to believe that to make myself feel better when I don't. But really weird. I for 2 years I was looking forward to playing Bonnaroo, and I that entire time was like, okay, nothing's going my way right now, but at least I'm playing Bonnaroo, and like nothing's doing this. I was just so excited. It was like my first like main stage or like big stage festival show, and I was so excited. And then 3 days before Bonnaroo I was supposed to play it, it got canceled, not even because of COVID, but because of weather. And I was distraught. I was very, very upset about it, but I was like, maybe something better is coming along, maybe something different, maybe this is a good thing. And little do you know, the next day I got a phone call saying, hey, you need to let us know in 30 minutes, but would you want to come play Sad Summer Fest? The first date is like in 2 days in Massachusetts. And Sad Summer Fest was with All Time Low, The Main, like Grayscale, all these like huge bands that I have been a fan of since I was 14 years old. And I ended up just saying yes and jumping in a van and going and finishing off this festival tour. And I met all the guys from The Main, who are one of like my favorite bands of all time, and I grew up listening to their music and going to their shows, and we ended up doing a song together, and now I'm out on tour with them, which is the weirdest full circle thing ever because I would have never met them if like that stuff didn't happen, and now we're all buddies, and it's like very strange, but then it makes me re-believe that everything happens for a reason, and the universe was just like, hey, I'm just gonna send a little bad weather down this way, and you're gonna play a show with your favorite band and then go on tour with them.
Not a bad trade in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of
Sorry to
things.
everybody else that was supposed to play Bonnaroo.
True,
It was
this was
my
all for
fault.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're touring right now with the Maine. You've toured with Youngblood,
Yes.
two of your favorite artists of all time. So how do you think you're going to top that on the eventual tour number 3?
Oh, I'm terrified. I don't know. It's so crazy. I feel like people always ask like who I want to go on tour with and stuff like that, but I feel like I have such weird taste. Like my taste is like Bonnie Raitt, Sheryl Crow, John Mayer, and then like Paramore, Avril Lavigne, like Alanis Morissette. Like it's such a strange melting pot that I feel like what I think is cool is not cool to a lot of people right now. So I have no idea. I'm just happy to be on the road. I'm happy to be playing shows, and I would just be grateful for the opportunity to be on the road with anybody.
But if Harry Styles calls and says you have to decide in 30 minutes, it won't take you that long.
But if the universe is listening right now and Harry Styles could give me 30 seconds, not even. As long as it takes to say yes, that's all the time he needs to give me.
3 seconds then, for sure.
Absolutely. Done.
You mentioned playing a show in Massachusetts, and I read that that's where you're from. That's where I'm from as well,
yes,
actually.
I love the hat, I was going to say.
Yes. So are you a Boston sports fan then?
I am. Here's the thing. I am a Boston sports fan through and through. If anybody questioned or told me to like any other like sport, what would it be?
Any other city, I guess,
City.
right? Like
There we go.
Yeah.
Sport place. As you can tell, I'm really sporty. Yeah, I would say absolutely not. But if you asked me a single question about the Boston sports happening right now, I would 10 out of 10 times not be able to answer it.
That's okay. I haven't kept up seriously in years. I just wear the hat at this point.
If they win something big, though, I'll be like, woo, that's my team that I love and support.
Of course. It's more of an idea sometimes, I guess.
I am fully supportive of Boston sports.
Speaking of your backstory, I was Googling you. Like I Google everybody that I talk to, obviously, just to see what Google says about these artists. And it was so weird because there was this article about you. Somebody was like trying to create a wiki because you don't have a Wikipedia page yet. And they were like, yeah, Charlotte Sands' date of birth is unknown, so we can't put in her age. I was like, surely that's not true.
So cool.
Would you rather remain mysterious, or would you like to maybe reveal your star sign for us?
Let's do it. I am August 9th, 1996. I'm 25 years old. My social security number is... Bleep it out.
That's what I'm gonna stop you right there. Yeah.
It just like fully bleeps the whole video. But I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo through and through.
And you feel like a Leo.
I do.
Okay.
I think like the information I know about Leos, it makes sense for me. I really, really, really badly want to be somebody who knows like everything like about astrological signs. I've always felt like people who know that information are like the coolest people ever, but I just can't hold any of that information in. I'm like, oh yeah, oh you were born in April, you must be. Your Mercury's in Gatorade, you know? It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm a Pisces. That's the full extent of what I know. That's
My
it.
reaction is always, whoa, yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe it does, I guess. People tell me I need to check my rising sign. Apparently, I'm not a typical Pisces.
Oh, wow.
Rising sign is, so.
I'm going to Google you after this.
Okay.
Find your astrology.
Oh, no. Oh, pressure's on.
Yeah.
Since we share a little bit of a common interest in pop punk and pop punk aesthetic, I wanted to ask you just a little either or question. A pop punk either or. I'll give you some stuff real quick. You tell me which one you prefer, okay? All right. Hot Topic or Spencer's?
That is so hard. I'm going to say Hot Topic. Yeah. That's right. That was the first place. Come on. I hope they don't hate me for this, but when I was like 14 years old, that was the first place I ever stole anything from. I stole a black eyeliner pen. I know. And I was like, this is the, I was like, I thought I was so cool. I remember leaving and being like, jail, like I'm about to get arrested. I thought it was so cool, but I don't know. Sorry, Hot Topic. Please don't arrest me.
I have one more thing to Google now, and that's the statute of limitations on petty theft before I post this video.
They can come for me. They're gonna like DM me and be like, hey,
hey, we're gonna need that back. All right, next one. My Chemical Romance or Green Day?
I'm gonna say My Chem.
Okay, very well. Very
I
well.
love Green Day though, but
I
I
was
feel like
I was
I have to say My Chem for now.
I'll allow it. Here's the last one, really. It's Vans or Army boots.
Army boots. I own more boots for sure.
Okay, okay. Is that the type of stuff you go up on stage rocking?
Yeah, I when like years and years and years ago would perform and try and like look really good and wear like heels and stuff. And I remember making the decision one day I just wore something like comfortable and I wore boots or like sneakers or something. And I was like, I will never go back. Like, I was like, I don't know how people do it. Like, all props to artists and like huge art, even like Dua Lipa or Beyonce and people who wear like heels. And I'm like, how are you even walking in a straight line, especially doing like an hour-long set? And all the props to them. If I can't sleep in it, I'm not wearing it. That is my that is my rule. So I would say boots, absolutely. I mean, I love boots, and usually wear them on stage, or I wear sneakers because they're even more comfortable.
They are for sure. You mentioned a couple of other artists, and that does bring up one thing I wanted to cover. So let's cover your collaborations, because unlike most of the people that I talk to, yours are from a little bit of a different breed. Under Oath, The Maine, Taking Back Sunday. Gotta say, when are you gonna hit us with a pop collab?
Oof, that is kind of like the dream. I I'm just like so spread out, and like I was saying before, like my taste has always just been so weird, and I've always kind of been opposed to like being a certain genre and like specifically one thing. I love the idea. I feel like now more than ever artists are kind of their own genre and can kind of bounce between different things so much easier. Now I can't speak. But I feel really grateful to be like a part of music right now, where I can kind of go between so many different things. And so I would love to be able to do like a pop collab soon. That would make me really happy.
Okay, okay. Last couple of questions for you,
Ah,
Charlotte, and thank you so much for the lovely conversation so far. You have a new song out. It's called Lost. It channels even more pop punk vibrations.
yeah.
Do you think putting out music in the future, does it make you more nervous now that you've had so much success with Dress? Does releasing a song feel different for you now?
Um, Maybe yes and no. I feel like I've only ever been successful with the songs or with my music when I've tried not to care about how people are going to receive them. I mean, all I can do is make music that I'm really proud of and that I love. And I think the people who genuinely care about me or like my artist project will respect that, or like even if they don't like the song, they'll be like, okay, well, that's something that she likes, and I like the fact that she's putting out stuff that she likes, hopefully. But I think if you try too hard to please people or please listeners or fit in a certain box or make just like hit songs, a lot of the time you can kind of either just stop enjoying what you're doing, or it just won't work, because I think a lot of really big songs are kind of songs that nobody either knew were going to be hit songs, or they weren't trying to make a hit song when they did it. So I think for me, as I'm just going to keep making music that I love, and keep working with people that I love working with, and hopefully we can make some more successful songs. But if we don't, at least I'll enjoy what I'm doing, and at least I'll have fun doing it, you know?
Definitely. And someday you'll put it all together in an album. Now, everyone's asked you this question, so I'm going to take a different angle on
I
it.
love it.
You've said before that you want to earn an album. You think there's a level of time and attention that an artist needs in order to actually put out a record.
Yeah.
Okay, yada, yada, yada. We've heard you describe that now. The question is, when will you know that you've deserved it? Will somebody have to tell you, or is there something you're specifically looking for?
That's a great question. I think I'll know. I think that I'll know when I will be able to release a project that people like care about, in the way that they will designate a certain amount of time to it. I think like for me, there are so many artists where I love and respect them so much that if they release an album, I know they want me to listen to it in an album format, and I will plan like a drive or a certain amount of time for that long, and I'll listen to it front to back in the way that they created it. And I think it's really hard to gain that kind of respect and love and time from people in music these days, but I think that I think there's just like a certain place where I'll get to where I'll know that people care enough, and maybe they won't, but maybe I'll just be ready to do it and be like, I think that this is right for this moment. Hopefully it'll be a feeling. Hopefully we're not having this conversation in 50 years and I'm like, one day I'll know. But I think for now I'm waiting for a certain time that it feels right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll keep waiting with you. This has been amazing getting to know you, talking about your music, kind of figuring out who you are just behind the 2 minutes, 15 seconds or so in dress. There's a whole lot to unpack, and I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you making it possible for us to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun, and I appreciate you asking me these questions. They're very interesting. It's fun to answer them.
I try to be a little different.
Yeah.
Until we meet again, maybe, who knows? Maybe you'll be dropping that album. But until we meet again, it was a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.